Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures preview for Thursday, the 23rd of June, 2016, and probably Friday, the 24th. Here's what I mean by that. We don't typically do market previews for Friday, Thursday night going into Friday of any week, because usually everything we've been looking at for the week is played out at that point in time. One Friday per month is always options expiration, which is pretty boring, so there's no reason to preview the market. And even Fridays in general, obviously not much left to discuss for the week. However, on occasion we will do it, and this could end up being one of those days depending on how things play out, because as you know, we've been waiting for this vote out of the UK for the Brexit. Obviously, I think the market's hoping that it does not pass and UK stays in. It's evidently, based on the polling, it's close, but who knows? The polls open here overnight here in the US, and I'm not sure exactly when we'll know the result for sure or not. So the market will start to react once it gets the result. And at any rate, I think that if we start to move late in the day and we get the result later tomorrow, so there's maybe something to discuss for Friday, then I may do a market preview for tomorrow, but we'll see. In the meantime, here's the ES front month futures contract daily chart. Nothing new to really talk about in terms of where we're at here. Been a very, very, very dead week. We'll talk about the volume numbers and everything else in a minute, but the chart is nowhere. We've got crude oil closed at 49 cents. That's down 85 cents. $49. That's down 85 cents. Gold closed down 4, which is a blip. The S&P lost 3. At one point in the day, the S&P was up like 0.06 or 0.6, and the NDX was literally down 0.01 points. Never seen that. That's almost definition of unchanged. NASDAQ 100, the NDX ended up closing down 8.67. SOX was down a point, which doesn't even count. Biotechs bounced 18. That doesn't count much either. They were higher midday, though. But this is what's interesting. Not much movement in the market, but the VIX on the rise, up 2.69 to 2117. Potentially the market indicating it's probably a lot of option buying just in case, or some predictions that the volatility is going to pick up here. Trend closed at 1.26. That leaves the 10-day moving average at 1.14, which is not a signal. NASDAQ volume worse than Monday and Tuesday at 1.5 billion. And we basically called off trading once we saw how bad it was early. I mean, there's no point if you lose money on a day like that, the correct answer was you shouldn't have traded. And obviously when nobody's playing, it gets very risky. Advanced decline ratio, negative 517 on the NASDAQ, negative 530 on the New York. Google closed up $1.59. You can see that's a flag forming there, very narrow, getting narrow each day as we wait here. Apple down 36 cents, pretty meaningless as well. Amazon down $5.22, still operating off of that 13 sell signal. Netflix down 98 cents. Put call ratio closed at 0.96. Real quick, we'll show you the intraday action and 5-minute candles. Again, the first 45 minutes were as flat as could be. I mean, literally stuck in what we call the opening range plays on the futures. Just super boring. And then finally moved up a couple points. Came back, and as we headed into lunch, we were flat and even. We filled the gap. One little blip lower and then back up, and this is the point coming out of lunch where we were literally, like I said, NASDAQ was down 0.01. Stayed there, and then right at the last hour, as we started the last hour, we came down a little bit. So we ended up trading 18 points of range, which is better than Tuesday, but volume was worse, and most of it was very, very, very non-technical. When you look at the NASDAQ side, pretty much the same. All right, so obviously the vote begins, and that's what the market will be focused on. In case nothing new happens, I won't be doing a market preview tomorrow night, so let's discuss the economic data that's due out here. So tomorrow morning, Thursday, an hour before the bell, initial and continuing jobless claims, that's the weekly number. 30 minutes into the market, new home sales. An hour into the market, natty gas, that's the weekly number. And then Friday, durable orders, an hour before the bell, and the final look at Michigan sentiment for June. If the vote, like I said, my feeling is obviously if they were to pass and leave the EU, I think that obviously is going to be a negative for the markets. If they stay in, is it a positive? Are we held back here waiting for this? Or are we more likely to just sort of fizzle out, everybody's comfortable, and now everybody can focus on the fact that it's summer, it's almost the end of the quarter, it's almost the end of the first half of the year, it's almost 4th of July, and then they get back to work after 4th of July? Or does the market take off and it's happy that everything passed? Hard to say, so certainly we will be watching the futures. That's what you watch to determine what's going on. If the futures start to rip or tank at some point tomorrow, that's the market saying it knows what happened in the vote. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal 12. If you've not yet taken the trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Thursday and potentially Friday, unless you hear from me then.